Indiana in the Morning, presented, as always, by First Commonwealth Bank here on WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, 646 in the morning, 14 before 7 o'clock. And if we're talking to someone on the air and it's 14 before 7 o'clock, it must be somebody with Indiana High, and it must be having to do with theater. Good morning, Leah Lyons. Just lovely. And you've got a big group of kids with you here today.
I do. It's the last show of the year.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, these years go fast, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. And so this particular performance is of what?
It's called The Interview. There are 3 shows that we've compiled together that are all about the interview process.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the show starts off with Miss Kentucky, and Miss Kentucky is stuck outside of the auditorium during the interview portion of the pageant. Then we move on to the role of Della, where the director makes her really earn her role in this audition.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finish up with Hard Candy, where we see all sorts of people come in and try to, quote unquote, earn a job.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting bunch of things you've told us here today.
Yes.
Let's learn more about it from your cast members.
Most definitely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and what you doing?
I'm Sydney Shear, and I play Emily in Hard Candy.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about your character.
Okay, my character is one of the characters who gets interviewed in Hard Candy, and I just go in and try to almost peer pressure my way into the role of a manager.
Uh-huh. A manager of what?
The company is called Banff Enterprises.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And so what are the techniques you use?
A lot of peer pressure, a lot of force almost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil it too much.
And now just let me ask, is this typecasting or is this someone who's completely against you?
I hope it's not typecasting.
Good.
I don't think it is.
Good. That's good to hear.
Thank you.
On the other hand, it could work.
Possibly.
Yeah, all right. Well, wonderful, wonderful. Let's meet our next actor. Good morning.
Good morning. I play the role of I'm Lena Pruitt, and I play the role of Adam. My character, I start out the show, so I never actually get interviewed. I just start the interview process.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes you think that we're, legitimate interviews that we're trying to do with, like, maybe some kind of twist. And then I just straight up, oh, you have nothing good? Well, you have this, and I like that, so we're good. And I completely ignore any of his other qualifications.
I sort of get the feeling I could ask, is this typecasting for every single one of you in this room here
Oh,
today?
yeah, it is definitely typecasting.
That's you?
100%. Leah
That's you?
always typecast every day of her life.
I'll stand on my tippy toes to see Mrs. Lyons. Is he telling the truth?
Yeah, I'm kidding. She's never has. She's very good about that. I promise.
All right, let's meet our next character actor. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Maeve Morris, and I play a character named Emma Wins in the role of Della.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the second of the ones that she told us about.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
I am the mean director.
You're the mean director.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I'll hold my tongue about that typecasting thing.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'm too mean.
No. But are you having fun with the role?
Yeah, I love it. I've never gotten the chance to play like a villain kind of character,
Uh-huh.
so it's interesting, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Don't embrace it too much.
Oh, no.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth McLean, and I play Elizabeth Ryan in the role of Della.
Della. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
second one, too.
And so I'm just trying really hard to get this audition, and I don't understand why Miss Emma Wins over here is being so rude to me.
Uh-huh. It's
So
just,
nice.
it's not the way people react to you normally, huh? They're not really rude to you.
I mean, Maeve is so rude to me all day, all the time. So.
Good morning. What's your
Good
name?
morning. I'm Jacqueline Springer, and I play the role of Cindy in Hard Candy.
Okay, that was the third one, which was the first one, actually, when we talked.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so tell me about your character.
I'm being interviewed for a position at Banff Enterprises, and I assume I'm very qualified for this position. I don't understand why I'm not getting the job until later on in the scene.
Oh, I see. So whereas this one over here is using one technique, you just figure you deserve it because of who you are.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Reese McFarlane, and I play the role of Shailene in Miss Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Now, who's Shailene?
She is the girl who's participating in the pageant, and she's locked outside of the convention center, so she's not able to get back in time for the interview, and her mother kind of have a little confrontation out there. So.
Mm-hmm. As to whose fault it is that you're too late for.
Yeah.
Are you locked out because you got there too late?
I'm locked out because I went outside for a smoke break and my mother took my shoe out of the door and we ended up getting locked outside.
Now, see, there's something that doesn't happen every day. All right, you don't smoke doing this, do you? I didn't think so. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Danny Lee, and I play the role of Bob in Hard Candy.
Okay. And Bob is another candidate for the job?
Bob is another candidate. He's the first character to come in for an interview.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what's his big deal?
Well, he really doesn't have any real qualifications. He doesn't seem too interested in actually getting the job or working that hard to get it.
Uh-huh.
But because of one thing he did in his past, he's able to relate to the boss and able to snag it.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How about that? I've had a few people like that I've interviewed here. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Skylar Pruitt, and I play the role of Jill in Hard Candy.
Mm-hmm. And who is Jill?
Jill is one of the last applicants to apply for the job, and she's very nervous to interview for the job because of who the boss is.
Oh.
She's very nervous, and the boss is, got a grip on her. She's again, very, very nervous.
Well, what are Jill's qualifications for the job that she needs to tout herself with?
Absolutely none. She has no idea what she's doing, but because of connections that she has with the boss, she ends up getting the job anyways.
Uh-huh.
And even herself is very surprised that she got the job.
And I bet you some of these other ones over here that were looking for the job ain't too happy about that.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Kiara Smith. I play the character of Linda in Hard Candy.
Mm-hmm.
My character is the secretary, and basically from the entire show, I'm there on stage and just watching all of the interviews happen over time and being just pushed aside and kind of irrelevant till later on in the show.
So you're on the other side of the table watching all these interviews take place.
Basically, I'm get fed up with it and stuff. Cause
You're not sitting there saying, this should be my job?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't want to give too much away, do I?
Spoil anything, but basically I'm just I have more qualifications than anyone, and then I just am pushed to the side and no one really pays attention to me.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like Hard Candy sounds like a really fun thing to do. Meet all kinds of personalities. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Elijah Satchel, and I'm playing the role of Fred in Hard Candy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Fred doesn't have any real qualifications besides his amazing, charming looks. And he gets very seduced on the stage several times, but we won't talk about that.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's not talk about that. So the role itself, I've asked several. Is this a role that you're just typecast for because that's the way you are? Or is that's you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, I have talents, but the looks is the main one.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you've got your hands full there, Mrs. Lyons.
You think?
Now, let me ask you this, because we had you in here not so long ago. Was this production rehearsals underway for it while you were doing the other one?
Oh, no, I'm not that crazy.
Okay.
It was planned. I planned the shows. I have to have them planned by August. The theme of this year was Not What You Expect. So all 3 shows had that theme. And I had audition packets and posters ready during the final week of The Addams Family.
Yeah.
And we closed the show on Saturday. And we were supposed to have auditions on Wednesday, but we had a snow day. So they ended up moving to Friday. But right afterwards, we jumped right in. We've only had 5.5 weeks to get this show ready. And the kids have done a great job.
Had to come together really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the scripts themselves, or the book itself, where did it come from?
It's 3 separate scripts that I went through and read and tried to find things that were appropriate for the amazing talent I have at the school and the kids' age. And so I decided to come up with this theme of interviewing, because a lot of students have talked about how they get so nervous when they go in for their very first job interviews. As teenagers, they're getting ready to do that. So that was the theme, and I found shows that fit it.
Yeah. See, now with all this experience you guys have gotten through this play, the job fairs this morning down at the KCAC.
I hope that they don't use the skills that these applicants use. It's great for a show. It brings many laughs, but let's face it, it might not actually get them a job.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. So show times?
It is Friday and Saturday at 7:30. Doors open at 7, and tickets are $5 general admission.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Everybody having fun with it? Yeah. Who wants to say something nice about Mrs. Lyons? Yeah, actual nice things about Mrs. Lyons.
Well, I do like to talk. So
okay.
I mean, this is kind of not just Lyons, but everything. This is my last show at Indiana Area Senior High School. I've been working with Mrs. Lyons for 4 years now, and throughout my whole 12-year experience just in the school system, I've never had a teacher and adult like her. She's a wonderful woman, and I'm really glad that we all had one last chance to try and make something happen on the stage. And I can't wait for it to take off.
Look at her blushing.
I'm going to add something with that as well. Even working with Mrs. Lyons outside of shows, I've had the chance to work with her as a department leader, as many of these other kids have as well. And she's just really helped me grow as a person and a leader in a community. So I really appreciate that.
We're going to do a whole separate show just on you. How about that? We'll get all the theater students of the last 5 years to come in here and talk about how wonderful a person you are. All right, so the show's the next 2 nights, Friday and Saturday.
You got it.
7:30.
7:30.
Yep. Indiana Senior High.
Excellent. Yeah, come on out and have a great laugh.
Wonderful. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful time at Shul today. It is 6:57, a couple of minutes away from 8 o'clock. It's Indiana, 7 o'clock. Gosh, I can't read a clock these days. It's Indiana in the Morning, 101.1 FM and AM 1160.